Καλησπέρα και από την CARDEL. Χαιρόμαστε πολύ που ήρθατε, που ανταποκριθήκατε στο κάλεσμα. Είμαστε δύο εταιρείες, η CARDEL και η ΚΑΕ από Ιταλία, και θα παρουσιάσουμε τον έγκαιρο εντοπισμό πυρκαγιών, δασικών πυρκαγιών. Πριν γίνει αυτό, να πω δύο λόγια για την CARDEL. Η CARDEL λειτουργεί από το 1993, είναι ελληνική εταιρεία και δραστηριοποιείται στην συλλογή ψηφιακών δεδομένων και την εφαρμογή αυτών, την αξιοποίηση αυτών για κάποιες ανάγκες. Παράδειγμα, είναι η εποπτεία χώρων, η ασφάλεια δηλαδή, και η αποτροπή των παραβιάσεων των χώρων αυτών. Παραδείγματα τέτοια έχουμε η πρώην Πετρόλα, έχουμε δημιουργήσει εκεί την περιμετρική ασφάλεια του διελιστηρίου, 7,5 χιλιόμετρα, με κάμερες και θερμικές κάμερες. Άλλο έργο είναι για τον ΟΤΕ η ελεγχόμενη πρόσβαση στα τηλεπικοινωνιακά κέντρα του ΟΤΕ σε όλη την Ελλάδα, με διαχείριση αυτών σε πραγματικό χρόνο. Θα ήθελα να δείτε ένα βίντεο τώρα και στην συνέχεια θα συνεχίσω με δύο λόγια ακόμα επιπλέον για την εταιρεία, για να έχετε μια εικόνα του ποιο είναι το αντικείμενο που έχει η CARDEL. Πάμε το βίντεο. Όλα τα χρόνια τα οποία δραστηριοποιείται η εταιρεία έχει αρκετά μεγάλη πελατεία στον χώρο του ελέγχου και της συλλογής δεδομένων ψηφιακών για κτίρια, για βιομηχανίες, για γήπεδα, όπως αυτά που είδατε. Τώρα τελειώνουμε το γήπεδο της ΑΕΚ, βάζοντας εκεί μηχανισμούς για την ελεγχόμενη διέλευση των φιλάθλων. Με όλα αυτά δίναμε τη δυνατότητα να ελέγχουμε όλα τα σημεία όπου προσβαίνουν άνθρωποι. Αυτό το επεκτείνουμε τελευταία ακόμα και στα όρια Δήμου. Μπορούμε να ελέγχουμε την κίνηση μόνιμων οχημάτων, περιπολικών, ΕΚΑΒ κλπ. Και να προσδίδουμε ένα αυτοματισμό, ελεγχόμενο αυτοματισμό στην κίνηση αυτών. Στα πλαίσια αυτά και λόγω του ότι είχαμε δραστηριοποιηθεί στον τομέα των θερμικών καμερών, έχουμε συνεργαστεί με μια Ιταλική εταιρεία, την ΚΑΕ, βλέποντας ότι μεσογειακή ζώνη, η Νότια Ευρώπη, προσβάλλεται ιδιαίτερα από πυρκαγιές, από το πρόβλημα των πυρκαγιών τα τελευταία χρόνια. Γι' αυτό και φροντίσαμε να βρούμε μια δοκιμασμένη λύση, η οποία θα προβληθεί τώρα από τον φίλο και συνεργάτη Αλμπέρτο. Alberto, you have the speech.
Thank you, Manolis. I'm sorry you have to switch to English because my Greek is quite poor, but I will briefly introduce the company I work for, and then we will go a little bit more into detail about the wildfire monitoring system. So, okay. CAI is the Italian leading company in environmental monitoring and early warning systems. We are based in Bologna. Our headquarters is in Bologna, but we work even abroad. Despite being the manufacturers of the main or most critical components, electronic components, we even integrate parts from third factories. And what we care much is the solution, the turnkey solution that we provide to our clients. So not only the state-of-the-art technology, but even all the necessary services to make the system work. So from project design up to installation, configuration, optimization, and maintenance, we take care of the whole system from the beginning until the end. Most of our systems are for environmental protection and for civil defenses. These are the most common areas of intervention and all the natural hazards that we cover. So from hydrology to floods, meteorology, glaciology, wildfires, landslide, levees, offshore monitoring, water quality, and many others. Today, we will focus about the solution for wildfires that we are promoting here in Greece with CARDEL. Okay, let me see if you can run this video for a first overview about the system. Okay. Coming. Okay, so why it's important to monitor the wildfire? we all know because of the fire management and control, because of the technological support of the fire department, and of course to alert the population and to save lives and even to save things. How the system is done? The system is mainly done of three main components. The components one is the ignition modeling, so the local regional modeling of wildfire ignition hazard index. The second phase is the hardware, the core of the system. That is the automatic monitoring, surveillance, and the early detection of wildfire. The third phase is another modeling for the flame propagation. So it will tell you, it's a modeling that will forecast in case of fire where the flame will most probably propagate. The system is a complex system, so it's based of several different inputs coming from different technology. So it's based from meteorological condition, because affects, of course, the propagation and even the ignition of the fire. It takes into consideration the vegetation and the biomass structure, because it depends on the surrounding about the probability of having a fire. It depends on the level of urbanization. And it's based mainly on a thermal and visible image for detecting the hotspot. This is an overview of the complete system. So in field, there are the lookout stations. Depending on the territory that we have to cover, there can be from 1 to several lookout stations. Each of them is equipped with a thermo and video camera, a dome camera. Then we will see next what the useful of this technology. Every lookout station is equipped with the meteorological sensors to monitor the main parameters. The most important are the rain, the wind, in case of fire to establish where we most probably propagate the fire, the temperature and the condition of the soil condition. Then there's the data center, where all data are received in almost real time. And in the middle, there's the microwave transmission system, since we have a huge amount of data transmitted from the camera to the data center. So we need a high stream data transmission system. As a backup, at least sometimes in Italy, but even abroad, we use a UHF radio network as a proprietary network belonging to the civil protection. But since it has a very narrow band, it's used only for the meteorological parameter. And another backup, in case of coverage, there's the mobile network, like 4G or 5G network. Then there's the data center, where all data are collected, and the people in charge of the surveillance can have a 24-hour condition of the territory. Can be in the office, even in mobility. Of course, there are the proper application for the monitoring of the wildfire. Let's see now a little bit in detail the three phases of the wildfire monitoring. So the phase one, the ignition modeling, is based mainly on the fuel code, so the vegetation and the biomass structure of the site where we are going to monitor. The meteorological conditions, so the main parameters, as I've told you before, is the temperature, the humidity, the leaf wetness, how many days without rain, and then the topography. Every single site has its own peculiarity. So in case of huge exposure to sun, or in case of any slopes, the condition might change. To configure the modeling, the configuration of the modeling can be done at a regional scale, where data are not very accurate. We have an overview of what can happen. So the modeling is based in Italy by an Italian index of fire risk that is a numerical model fed by meteorological parameters. Generally speaking, one of the most used is the Canadian Fire Weather Index. That, again, is a numerical model fed by some meteorological parameters. The map on the right show you, for example, the red area is the most dangerous areas. The area where most probably we can have a fire. The orange is less probable, and then there are other colors where it's very very few probable to have a fire. If we want to go into a better detail, we can downgrade to a local scale. So we need to use a different kind of modeling together with the other one. So the two modeling put together can help us to have a resolution of about 250 meters. This modeling, this local modeling, are usually developed by local university or local institution that know the territory and know how can develop the fire. The phase 2 is the most critical phase of the system, is the hardware basically. So there are 4 different main modules. The first one is the fire detection, that is made up of thermal camera, visible camera, and at the same time a dome camera. Then we will see how we will use these 3 kind of cameras. The meteorological module, so basically a meteorological station to measure the meteorological parameters to fit the modeling, the numerical modeling. The security module, because usually these lookout stations are installed in very remote location, so it's very useful to have a kind of security and video surveillance in case of theft or vandalism. And then the communication system, again, is very important to have the data in real time to the data center. So one of the main parameters when designing the project is to have a proper communication system. So this is a typical example of a lookout station installed on a tower of about 25 meters in order to cover as much territory as possible. There's the thermal detection system that is made with a motorized pan tilt mechanism that makes a 360-degree observation in less than 2 minutes with different tilt or different inclination of the camera in order to cover different parts of the territory. If we tilt, if we make a high inclination, we cover the territory close to the lookout station. If we raise the tilt, we cover distances up to 15 kilometers, 1.5. Inside this motorized pan tilt mechanism, there's the thermal camera that is used to detect the thermal images. And at the same time, the same spectrum of the territory is covered by a visible camera. So behind this visible and thermal camera, there's again another modeling software that use based on the high definition images coming from the system. It's used to detect the hotspot. In case of fire, this modeling is able to identify the spot. Once the spot is identified, the system automatically provides the coordinates of the spot. So what we can do, we can keep on monitoring with the other 2 cameras, the thermal camera and the visual camera, and we can zoom with this very powerful camera to the hotspot located by the automatic system. So the people in charge of the surveillance can watch, can see what's going on. So it can activate the alarm, or in case of a false alarm, it can just delete the alarm. Usually installed on the same tower, there is even the meteorological modules or meteorological station. The main sensor are the one that we can see now, the wind speed and direction, very important in case of fire to detect where the flame will most probably propagate. The pyranometer for the solar radiation, rain gauge for the rain, of course, and thermohygrometer for temperature and air humidity. The last phase is a model that in Italy we have developed in cooperation with the University of Calabria, but can be developed locally, that based on mainly on the condition of the environmental condition and based on the orography of the territory, can foresee where the flame front will most probably propagate in the next 6 hours. So all the circle represent, if if I'm not wrong, 2 hours. So in the next 2 hours, there's the first circle. In the next 4 hours is the second circle, and so on. So it's very useful for the fire brigade, fire department to estimate where they have to intervene. So as you can see, this is the logic scheme of the whole solution. It's quite a complicated solution because, as I told you, there are many inputs coming from many different technologies. And behind this technology, there's some modeling software that help to detect the hotspot and the fire. So what at the data center we will have? The people at the data center in charge of the security will have a screen with all dots. All the yellow dots is a lookout station. The blue radius is the theoretical view of the lookout station. And so you can see with your lookout station which part of the territory you can cover. These maps can be seen in Google Maps or OpenStreetMap, any kind of maps, and even offline in case of if internet connection is not available, you can upload offline maps if you have available in your server. So in real time, you will have the two images, the first one on the left and the central images, coming from the thermal camera and the visual camera. They all look at the same spectrum of the territory, so they are watching in the same spot. The third one is the dome camera. Usually is off or just fixed. In case of an alarm, that it automatically fix the hotspot. In case of an alarm, the alarm is issued automatically. So there are several different ways to issue the alarm. Can be visual, can be acoustic, can be an SMS, can be email, depending on the necessity of the client. The system usually is a normal state. The system scans the territory 360 degrees and with different inclination of the cameras. In case there's some area that we don't want to monitor, for example, we have a lake that we want to avoid because we know there won't be any fire there, so we can set the camera to avoid that spectrum of the territory in order to improve the speed of the wall scanning. In normal state, so the system scans the present target and record videos. In pre-alarm mode, a potential ignition has been identified. So in this case, the human, the person in charge of the security, can watch with the dome camera what's going on. In case of false alarm, he can close the alarm and then the system keep on working, or he can confirm the alarm and make all the necessary adjustments. So he can call who is in charge of the fire department and all the necessary people in case of an alarm. He can even activate a manual alarm. So it's an option in case for some reason the human can see a fire that the system didn't detect. So this is an overview of the software platform. So you can see different images coming from the camera. You can see even in the same screen different lookouts, so you can have overlook of the whole system at the same time. Just to finalize, I will show you just briefly two case studies. This is the first one. This was an experimental fire monitoring system. It's the first one we have implemented in the south of Italy about 10 years ago. And at the beginning we had some problems, especially for the modeling software to detect the hotspot. But then we have developed the proper solution, the proper modeling to really detect the fire and to avoid false alarm. This is another project that we have just implemented in southwest of Italy, in Puglia region, and it's still working, and we have this system under maintenance. I don't know if you want to say something.
Okay.
Εάν υπάρχουν ερωτήματα, με χαρά να τα απαντήσουμε, ή αν δεν έχουμε χρόνο, δεν έχουμε χρόνο, τότε προτείνω να περάσουμε στο περίπτερό μας, είναι εδώ δίπλα, Α09, για να κεράσουμε και για ένα μικρό κέρασμα. Και εκεί μπορούμε να μιλήσουμε για όλα τα θέματα, αν υπάρχουν θέματα ενδιαφέροντος για το προτινόμενο. Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ.